Ellen worked.
Good morning and welcome to the WSJM Morning Show. I'm Ken Lundberg. Here with me is Mike Weibel. Sorry to cut you off mid-thought there.
It's all right. I'm used to it.
Oh, stop it. Stop it.
I'm used to having my thoughts devalued.
We are slaves to the clock. The sooner you understand the clock,
yeah, I don't have
the
a handle.
happier your life will be.
I don't have a handle on the clock.
The clock is important because we have listeners. Listeners depend on us at certain times.
They do depend on us.
It's like setting your watch by us.
Right.
We want them to do that.
We'd actually say we're the listeners depends.
I don't like that visual. Good morning, and thank you for joining us. Welcome to the video live stream of the WSJM Morning Show. I'm Ken Lundberg. We got stuck on a topic this morning about Elon Musk's email to, I think we can just basically say it's Elon Musk's email, even though it came through the Office of Personnel Management. There's a lot being directed on how the size of government's going to go through Doge.
Yes.
Go ahead. You look like you had something to say.
No, I'm just...
You know, it's the 5 bullets email. Tell us what you did last week. I couldn't help but put myself in this situation. What would you write down if you were asked that question?
Well, hopefully good 5 things that you did.
Right. Yeah.
And I guess if you have to think about it too long, that's an indictment.
How many people do you think are going to be I mean, these are about to go viral. The responses to Elon Musk's email are about to go viral.
Yeah.
Mark my words, because people are going to put stuff in there like changed kitty litter.
Right.
You know, what are the other 5 things you did? Responded to emails from an oligarch,
right,
who's hanging out at the White House. What else are they going to respond? They're going to respond. I don't know. You got any there?
Well, I'm sure there's going to be someone much like ourselves that's going to have a twist of humor to it.
Yeah.
That's going to be epic. But
tried peanut butter and jelly with banana for the first time.
Right.
Added mayonnaise to my peanut butter sandwich.
Yeah. Hated it. Loved it.
Hated it. Love that. Or you could have nothing. Last week I sipped Mai Tais on a beach because I'm on vacation. Leave me alone.
Exactly. And I'm still on vacation.
And I'm still on vacation. Right. But now I'm responding to emails, so I'm taking this day back.
Yeah. Because of my time required to
call that efficient. Yeah. Watched some award shows, played some music, played Sudoku, Wordle. Yeah, I don't know. It's just tore my hair out over all the cuts that are happening.
Planned my retirement.
Yeah, I think we should come up with a list just for fun. All right, it's the WSJM Morning Show. It's 7:03. We've got so we'll talk about that this hour. I'll give you the latest that we know about that. We should also probably I know ABC is covering this, but we can probably take a second look at the Pope's condition. He went into critical condition, and his prognosis not made public, but they did give us some additional detail about his medical evaluation. His platelets weren't having a good time. The blood oxygen level was pretty poor, so they were putting him on like a high concentration of oxygen over the weekend. And they say he's alert. He's just gotten double pneumonia, and his kidneys started to show early signs of failure.
Yeah, it's not good.
That's not a good situation, no. And so we'll continue to monitor that situation. We hope, obviously, for the best. We'll keep you up to date on that as well. So we've got a lot more to talk about. We'll get our local news here in a moment and our weather forecast. It's going to be short sleeve weather this week.
Oh, I know it.
Short. Mike brought his golf clubs into the office.
I said this a week ago, 2 weeks ago actually. I was going through my photos and videos, and there was a video of my golf swing that I took of myself in my yard on March 8th, of last year, and I had shorts and a T-shirt on. And I was like, good luck with that. And all of a sudden, bam, that could happen.
Got to go. We'll be back. Samuel says hello. Love you too, Samuel. We'll be back.
27cash.com.
WSJM News Now. Team coverage from the WSJM Newsroom on News Talk Sports 94.9 WSJM.
The clock keeps ticking, whether we like it or not.
Well, let it tick.
7:05, it's the WSJM Morning Show. Good morning. I'm Ken Lundberg. Over there playing on his phone again is Mike Weibel.
Yep.
And we were on the video live stream a moment ago. I'm sorry I had to cut you off again because of the clock.
Okay. Well, again, like I said, I'm
Read
used to
my
it.
cues. Read my cues.
Give me like
We'll
a
be
countdown.
back in just a moment. Means we got to stop talking.
All right. Well,
It's the WSJM morning show. We're having fun. We both came in a little chippy this morning, and I think we're working through it.
yeah.
I think we're working.
Yeah, we are.
He says with a sigh. We're having fun because we're talking a little bit about that email from Elon Musk's, basically the Office of Personnel Management, asking all federal employees, if you're a federal employee and you can hear this, you got the email from the Office of Personnel Management saying, tell us by midnight tonight, Monday night, tell us by midnight on Monday night, 5 things you did last week. And by the way, non-response is akin to resignation.
Right. I do like the idea that if you were on vacation last week,
Right?
and you're a bit of a smart aleck,
Yeah.
to be like, put on suntan lotion.
This is why auto reply when you're on vacation is really important.
Yeah.
Because you did respond.
Yeah, out of office.
Yeah, I feel good for those people who are on vacation because they can wait a week, see where things settle out. We'll talk about this. It's all coming up right here on the WSJM Morning Show. Let's do the weather forecast here. What do we have temperature-wise out there right now? 37 degrees in Benton Harbor, 36 in St. Joseph, 36 in South Haven, 35 in Dowagiac. Dowagiac, the feels like right now is 22. In Benton Harbor, the feels like is 24. And it feels like 20 degrees in St. Joseph. But that's going to improve.
Yes.
That's going to, especially as the week progresses.
It only gets better.
It only gets better. Yeah. Today we're going to have mostly cloudy skies, breezy, slight chance of rain showers late in the day. High around 47 degrees today. So if there are big icicles hanging off your roof still, don't stand under them.
Yeah. And open up your mouth to catch the water coming off.
Stop it. I watched Final Destination this weekend. One of them. Forecast for tonight, mostly cloudy and cool. 30% chance of rain showers, the low around 35. Southwest winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tuesday, slight chance of rain showers early and then becoming partly sunny. A high around 45 degrees on Tuesday. Wednesday, just looking at the high, it could get up to 50 degrees. 50 degrees.
Diane on the live stream says the sun is coming up before 7 o'clock, exclamation point.
I know, you see it and you just think, life is returning.
Exactly.
Life is returning.
Having my coffee and hearing the birds, caw-caw, caw-caw.
Is that what they're saying?
Yeah.
Mine are just a friendly little cheep, cheep, cheep. All right, let's do news. The news from the WSJM newsroom. A house fire in Van Buren County near Big Cedar Lake left one person dead on Friday morning. The sheriff's office reports that the fire was first reported around 7 a.m. on Friday after an alarm company notified county emergency officials that a heat detector was activated, but they were unable to make contact with anyone inside the residence in the 29,000 block of Shaw Road. The Lawton Fire Department responded. They found the residence on fire. They were able to get it under control pretty quickly, but investigators say once they were able to get into the residence, they found one person who lived at the residence. It was the sole occupant of that residence and unfortunately was found inside and deceased. The fire cause is still under investigation. 2024 marijuana money distribution is happening across Michigan. The Michigan Department of Treasury says over the next few days, nearly $100 million will go to 108 cities, 36 villages, 80 townships, 74 counties, and 4 tribes as part of the Michigan Regulation and Taxation of Marijuana Act. So that number of municipalities and different entities, those are all the folks who said okay to marijuana. Now they're getting their paychecks again. Their annual paychecks.
Now known as high times.
That's right. High times. High times are coming in. For the state of Michigan's 2024 fiscal year, officials say each eligible municipality, county, and tribe will receive $58,228.66 for every licensed retail store and microbusiness located within its jurisdiction. That's $58,000 for every single one of those. So in Berrien County, entities will receive $1.5 million. Van Buren County entities will receive just a little over $1 million. Cass County, about $465,000. Looking at some of the top recipients in Berrien County, Niles will receive $407,600.62. Buchanan and New Buffalo will each receive $349,371.96. And Benton Harbor will receive $232,914.64. In Van Buren County, some of the top money getters, Paw Paw, South Haven, and Decatur, they'll each receive $174,000. And there are others as well. We'll explore more of this as we go through this week. Aside from the nearly $100 million in disbursements to municipalities, counties, and tribes, more than $116 million will be sent to the School Aid Fund for K through 12 education, and another $116 million will go to the Michigan Transportation Fund. So gram by gram, we're getting money.
Telling you.
Right there.
Right.
That's the marijuana money, tax money.
Yeah.
And the governor wants to put an additional 32% tax to fix the roads.
Yeah. You think
How's that going to work?
You think that's going to get paid out
No,
next year?
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so. I don't think it gets passed by the legislature. All right, other news stories that we're covering. The Berrien County Sheriff's Department has scheduled its next round of rape aggression defense classes offered for free to women around the county. Department Crime Prevention Coordinator Kelly Lesh tells us she's been working with the RAD program for about 20 years now, teaching basic self-defense skills to women of all ages. She says there will be 3 classes this spring.
It goes from basic knowledge, so for personal safety, traveling safety, work safety, dating safety, relationship safety. So we kind of talk about a little bit of everything.
Lesh says the techniques the class covers don't require any special skill. The RAD program teaches women to use things they already have to defend themselves. RAD classes are open to women starting as early as 16 years old.
That is a pretty good age to start getting and thinking of that stuff. But a lot of colleges, this program, the RAD Systems program, there's a lot of instructors throughout the nation, basically. It's an international program, but a lot of colleges offer those classes.
Lesh says the first class is a book-work-focused class. The second night involves learning the moves, and then the third night features scenario-based training with a deputy in a padded suit.
There you go.
He needs to wear a padded suit because it gets beat up by the people in the class. She says that's less common that last night with the RAD classes, but fortunately, the sheriff's office believes that part of the program is important and should be offered. We have more details on how to sign up, what the class is, everything else you want to know. The details are at our website, WSJM.com. It'll give you a link to the registration.
And if you got a daughter getting ready to go off to college,
Oh, my goodness.
sign her up.
Yeah. No, it's important.
I'm telling you.
It's very important. Have that skill set.
It's great being in St. Joe and Berrien County, and we're really pretty safe in comparison to a lot of other cities.
Yes.
But when you're going off to a big campus someplace and whatnot, I don't know. I don't care where you go to school. There is always some type of crime, and making sure your daughters are prepared and are able to kick the snot out of somebody. I think that'd be great.
Well said.
As a father of daughters.
As a father of daughters. Well said. Yeah. No, again, more details on the RAD program at our website, WSJM.com. And as you mentioned earlier, Mike, the class fills up quickly.
Yes.
And so go fill it up, and that'll give maybe the sheriff's office more impetus to do additional classes. So
Yeah.
It's really good stuff. All right, one more story. Electric car drivers don't expect a flurry of new fast-charging EV stations to pop up anytime soon. Earlier this month, the Federal Highway Administration stopped funding new projects under the National Electric Vehicle Infrastructure Program. Michigan was set to receive $110 million for key route projects. The Clean Fuels Michigan says while this will significantly impact charging station expansion plans, it won't stop them altogether because there are still some projects in the pipeline, but it really does signal a setback for some of their goals. There are currently 3,700 public charging stations around Michigan, just 3,700. You think about the number of cars on the roadway and what that does if all those cars all of a sudden turn into, well, not all of a sudden, but eventually turn into electric vehicles needing a charging station. That's not a lot.
No.
And so they've been investing in the infrastructure, and the goal was to deploy 100,000 of these things by 2030. But now that the National Highway Administration says we're stopping that program, that's going to curtail that quite a bit.
It's probably what people need to think about doing is getting a gas generator and put it in the trunk of your Tesla.
Well, that's convenient.
Yeah. And you just and you don't ever have to worry about it.
Well, that makes the argument for the Tesla truck, right? That'll give you room to haul that around.
There you go.
I saw a charcoal-colored one of those in town the other day.
Yeah.
Not the silver one that you've been seeing around town, but this was like a darker gray shadow. It was a cool color.
I saw like a burnt orange one day.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was sharp.
I do like burnt orange.
Of course, it looks like a large matchbox car.
Like a Lego or
Yeah,
something like that. Okay. Orange, huh? I haven't seen that one.
I was
Okay.
like, wow, that actually is good looking.
All right, we'll have more on Mike's opinion of cars in just a moment, and we'll talk a little bit more about the OPM, the Office of Personnel Management, and their email. That's all coming up right here on the WSJM Morning Show.
The Red Wings earned 3 points in their back-to-back games this weekend, punctuated by
Yeah, you made the point earlier this morning, Mike, about news cycle in Washington, D.C., and you're absolutely right, because when a new administration comes in, or new makeup of the House or Senate, there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
It typically, however, will follow the Monday through Friday routine
Yes.
of communiques, as it were. But this Trump administration, especially with Elon Musk being a key advisor, really keeping the news business going 24/7.
Yeah.
Saturdays, Sundays. And with social media, especially with the guy who owns X, tweeting out stuff all the time. Let's see. Yeah, Elon Musk tweeted, "Those who ignored President Trump's executive order to return to work have now received over a month's warning. Starting this week, those who still fail to return to office will be placed on administrative leave." That's a tweet.
Yeah.
It used to be just a tweet.
Right.
But now that's one of the president's key senior advisors just 58 minutes ago, Monday morning, making news again.
Yeah. There's no, I mean, you could only imagine Elon Musk is probably up all hours of the day and night
Yeah.
just pinging away ideas. But yeah, I mean, if you are thought about going into journalism, you better pack a lunch because it's going to be
Don't expect much sleep.
right.
You know, and that's fine. I mean, that's what it is, and that's what you kind of live and thrive for, as long as you have the ability to tell the story. And in this case, this story is developing legs and heads and arms and other things of its own.
Right.
Because the email from the Office of Personnel Management to all federal employees basically saying justify your role is now getting pushback from within the same department. So Elon Musk, key advisor to Trump, all these other department heads, Secretary of State, Department of Defense, FBI, also appointed by Trump, pushing back on Elon.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting.
He's upsetting the apple cart for sure.
Well, yeah. And I think that's what people wanted.
Yeah. That was kind of the mandate.
Yeah. So, all right, we'll have more. We'll talk about this in just a couple of minutes right here on the WSJM Morning Show. What do we have out there on the video live stream? Diane says good morning. Teresa says good morning. Who else do we have on there?
Diane says, yes, dark gray has been in South County. You talking about your...
Oh, yeah. So that one's been down in South County?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, they were slumming up in St. Joe.
That's right.
When I saw them, they were next to the courthouse. Orange. Where'd you see the burnt orange one?
Where did I see? It was one of those, I think it was coming through down Blue Star Highway into St. Joe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was
I like how we have a Red Arrow Highway and a Blue Star Highway,
right.
depending on your color choice.
It is.
Yeah, it's red or blue.
What you feeling? Are you feeling blue? It's Monday. It's Blue Star. Friday, it's Red Arrow.
One thing I like about Blue Star Highway, it's in much better condition than Red Arrow.
Yes.
All right. We'll have more in just a moment right here on the WSJM Morning Show.
Fine arts, physical education, and more. Giving your child the tools to grow academically, creatively, and spiritually. At Liberty Christian, education isn't just about grades. It's about promoting wisdom, character, and a genuine curiosity about the world. Liberty Christian Classical School. Education you can trust. Schedule your visit today at libertychristianmi.org.
Mostly cloudy skies today, breezy and mild afternoon, high temperatures around 47. A few rain showers are possible during the day, but mostly the chance of rain is overnight tonight. We'll see rain showers. We drop down to around 35 to 37. And tomorrow, clouds and rain in the morning, sun in the afternoon, and high temperatures back in the mid-40s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Carrie Peugeot.
The Morning Show with Ken and Friends on 94.9 WSJM.
It's the WSJM Morning Show. Good morning. I'm Ken Lundberg. Here with me is Mike Weibel. He's been busy researching things because we like lists. Lists are fun. And you have a list of the days that are being recognized today. So we'll get to that in just a moment.
Yeah.
We'll get to that in just a moment.
Oh, you're not cutting me off again?
I'm not cutting you off at this point.
All right.
But when the clock tells me to,
No
I
promises
will.
is what you're saying.
I have the power to cut your microphone off.
I have the power.
I have the power. Speaking of power, let's reset and talk again about Elon Musk and the Office of Personnel Management. A federal government-wide email asking employees, "What did you do last week?" basically plunged workers and agencies into a great weekend of confusion as to who's telling me what to do now and what am I supposed to do with this.
Right.
Elon Musk has tweeted, basically said on X that failure to reply to that email that came out Saturday that basically says, "What did you do last week?" Failure to reply taken as a resignation. Some department officials are now telling their employees, like at Secretary of State, Department of Defense, Federal Bureau of Investigation, to hold off on responding. Adding additional confusion to this now is previous guidance from the Office of Personnel Management that the agency says responses to such mass emails are voluntary. So I don't know how they put that out there, that the email we sent and responses are voluntary. Here's the email. You got to reply.
Right.
Here's the social media from Doge advisor Elon Musk. And then here's our guidance. It's voluntary. And then, if that weren't enough, you've got the heads of those departments saying, don't reply.
Right.
It's like mom and dad are having a spat and the kids get to watch.
Right. Sitting in the back seat like, this is going on.
So federal workers resurfaced the OPM guidance after they received Saturday's email signaling their latest objection to changes pushed by the Department of Government Efficiency. Again, Musk posted on X that all federal employees will shortly receive the email requesting to understand what they got done last week. And many federal workers are covered by civil service protections that prevent them from being fired without cause.
Yeah.
And the actual text of the email did not include the ultimatum that Musk put out on social media. So employees were asked to reply with approximately 5 bullets of what they accomplished in the last 7 days, and also said, CC your manager, but do it all by Monday at midnight. So we're what? Hours, 4 hours plus. So we're 16 hours away from seeing what it is, just about 16 hours away from seeing what it is that will happen to employees who don't respond.
So is that the workaround for the civil service protection? That if you don't respond, it's insubordination, in which case you could be terminated.
I don't know.
That way you can't say you were
I think a lot of people don't know.
Without cause. Well, you're asked to do something, you didn't do it.
If you were an employee and you saw this email, you know there are employees out there who see email and they want to respond to it right away.
Yep.
Might not be the best response.
No.
But they want to respond right away, and I bet a lot of them hit send on their stuff already.
Oh, yeah.
And
oh, yeah.
And now all of those things that people respond with, that's going to be logged somewhere. I don't know. It's going to be part of your record and everything else. I don't know.
Well, hopefully you did respond quickly with some.
I responded.
Meme.
I responded with a meme. It was a little kitten hanging on a clothesline saying, "What? Me worry." Hang in there. Hang in there. Let's see what else. So some of the agency heads are taking issue with this, telling their employees not to respond. We already mentioned which agencies there are. Musk is showing no signs of easing up. He tweeted as well, extremely troubling that some parts of the government think this is too much. What's wrong with them? Double question mark. Not just a single question mark, a double question. Yeah, double question mark. So overnight into Sunday, senior officials at basically every agency are working to provide guidance on how to proceed. Among the first to respond was Kash Patel at the FBI, who said, no, don't do it. We'll respond for you. Don't go around us.
Yeah, you definitely don't want FBI people responding to the 5 things they were doing last week.
No. I mean, because they said classified work is off limits. You don't want anything classified to be shared in these emails.
Right.
And you see the same thing from Department of Defense and from the State Department. Let's see. Employees at the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the National Institutes for Health, and the Food and Drug Administration, all part of HHS, had already been told by individual agencies to wait until Monday for more guidance on how to respond. As of Sunday afternoon, staffers at those divisions received the email telling them to pause responding. So again, I applaud folks for being able to get 2 million emails out on a weekend, on a Saturday. Can you imagine who has to hit send on those things?
I'm sure it's just a, like we have it at the office. If I want to send an email to everybody in my office, I can just put St. Joseph on there,
a distribution list.
Yeah, and it's bam. I'm sure there's probably distribution lists.
Having worked with distribution lists that go into pretty large organizations, it's not that simple.
Well, and not always efficient either.
Not always efficient, not that simple, not up to date, because you got to,
right.
The lists I was dealing with were probably like 4,000 people. And that's, they're spread around the world, but it wasn't that big. But, you hear from, let's say you hear from 1% back that there was an issue with the email.
Right.
All of a sudden you got a problem. It's like, no.
Or what about if it hits your spam?
Yeah.
And you don't see it.
Yeah, a lot of people are probably labeling that stuff as spam now.
Right.
It's like OPM, Doge, spam. So, I mean, some of the activities that are being undertaken, or at least driven in part by Elon Musk as an advisor to the president at the White House, has drawn some criticism, not only from inside the United States,
right,
but from other countries as well. Canada is now thinking about revoking Elon Musk's Canadian citizenship. Who knew he had Canadian citizenship?
Yes, one who knew, and like, why are they jumping in this dogfight?
Because there's maple syrup involved. More than 150,000 people from Canada have signed a parliamentary petition calling for their country to strip Elon Musk's Canadian citizenship because of the tech billionaire's alliance with Donald Trump. British Columbia author Qualia Reid launched the petition in Canada's House of Commons, where it was sponsored by new Democrat parliamentary members and including Charles Angus. So Elon Musk was born in South Africa.
Yeah,
but his mom is from Saskatchewan's capital, Regina, and obviously Elon Musk has been on tear for the federal government, and so some of that, I guess, has ticked off Canadian interests, because maybe whether it's the 51st state reference or we're going to do your steel and aluminum tariffs or whatever else, they now have a petition with more than 150,000 signatures, strip Elon Musk of his Canadian citizenship.
I just think that's just like, again, it's like children fighting on the block. You know what I mean?
Nothing really.
My mom says you can't come over anymore.
It feels really big in the moment.
Right.
But as far as the landscape, it really doesn't have big impact.
No. Like, what does that mean for him? Right?
Well, you can't travel freely to Canada anymore.
Can't vote in Canada.
Yeah.
Big deal.
The moose petting zoo is off limits or whatever.
Right.
All right. We've got more to cover in just a couple of minutes. Good morning and welcome to the WSJM Morning Show. I'm Ken Lundberg. Here with me is Mike Weibel. Again, I mean, I think about, I can't get over this, the whole federal government getting an email. I want to talk to some folks here and ask, what are you going to do?
Yeah. Or just, again, Elon seems to be a very smart guy. So what's the psychology behind this? I mean, that's my thing, is like, what's behind it? There's got to be more than just rattling everybody's cage. There's got to be something that they're hoping to achieve by this, because otherwise it just looks like chaos. Well,
let's say everybody has a perfect answer of, well, this week I moved mountains. And
right.
and so, I mean, essentially,
you go to ChatGPT and ask, what are 5 things I should say I did last week?
Well, I think eventually, and this gets back to the corporate mergers and acquisitions theme.
Uh-huh.
If you have a corporate merger and acquisition, again, the new mission of the company is to do things in this way so that they can make their money or make their profit or whatever by selling their widgets in the best possible way. If you were a merger and acquisition target, and the target says, or the person who controlled the merger, the company that bought you, says, we're no longer going to sell to Brazil. And I'm going to send an email out. That's my strategy. I'm not going to share that with employees, but that's our strategy is we're no longer going to sell to Brazil.
Right.
And so I'm going to send an email to everybody and say, hey, tell me what you did last week and list off 5 countries that you primarily support. Everyone who lists Brazil, I'm going to see, and I'm going to take an accounting of that. And I'm going to say, all right, now I have 20% resource capacity after I get rid of Brazil. And so, therefore, I'm either going to ramp up by 20% or I'm going to cut 20% of my workforce, right? I mean, that's a blunt way of looking at it.
Right.
But now, if you apply that to the federal government, you're thinking, all right, we've got a mandate from Donald Trump that we're going to cut government by this amount to meet these deficit numbers to pay off this amount of the debt. How are we going to do on climate change or on unfunded mandates or on this, that, and the other thing, tax enforcement? All these things, Consumer Fraud Protection Bureau, all these things, if you list that as part of your job, of the top things that you did last week, well, then all of a sudden AI is going to say, okay, you could have this much capacity if you get rid of these things.
Right.
That's basically it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at it through a corporate lens,
Right.
that removes all the humanity from it, unfortunately.
Right.
And I think that's where a lot of people are having issues.
Yeah.
So that's my 2 cents. That's how
I like it. That's a good point.
That's the strategy.
Yep.
Plus, he just wants to rattle cages.
Right. And probably
Do not tap on the cage anymore, Elon.
he's like the
The
aquarium.
fish are not getting happy.
Ding, 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 ding.
All right, more in a couple of minutes right here on the WSJM Morning Show. We've got Bloomberg coming up. We've got our ABC News. It's all right here.
Would you call free checking that pays?
Yeah, I wonder, do you think Elon has any exotic animals?
I don't know. I don't know if he's a pet guy.
Do you think he has like a Burmese python or maybe a couple of them and some rats? And he's like, how can I upset the cradle today? I don't know.
When I was in, one time I was in Miami, went into a pet store in Miami, and they had a huge monitor lizard. And it was about 3
That looks like the Komodo dragon, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so there was a sign on there, feed the lizard for $2.
Feed the lizard for $2?
Yeah. So
Okay.
you go to the guy at the counter and you give him $2. He reaches in a thing, gets a rat out, walks over, whacks the rat up against the outside of the glass, knocking it out, and throws it inside, and the lizard gulps it down. And it was like, I mean, it was kind of a shocking experience. Because, one, I didn't get to feed the lizard. This guy just went and grabbed a rat and went, I guess you were just paying him for.
So wait a sec. So you pay $2 and you don't get to personally feed the lizard?
No.
Oh. And the rat gets knocked senseless?
Yeah, so
That's
he grabs
no
the rat by
fun.
the tail, and it's, squirming around like, hey, what's going on?
Yeah,
or he's seen his brother just get fed to the lizard for $2, and he's like, oh, no. And then he walks up, and because he doesn't want to injure the lizard, so he whacks the rat up against the glass and then dumps it in, and it was like a Happy Meal for a monitor lizard.
A Happy Meal. Where's the toy?
Yeah, well, there it is.
Let's see. So I already told you about the microwave project this weekend.
You did.
We also hooked up the amplifier that I got back. The tube amplifier. Well, I went
Did
to
you get speakers?
I did.
Okay.
I went down to a local establishment that sells records and stuff and some used stereo gear.
Yeah.
And I knew they'd have something. And so I was in the market for some bookshelf speakers. I looked online, I looked at new. My tastes are ridiculous, and so new, I mean, the sky's the limit.
Right.
And so I didn't even want to break the budget that way. And so I thought, all right, I'm going to reduce, reuse, recycle. I'm going to go look for some good quality speakers that somebody else no longer wanted.
Gotcha.
And I found some Boston Acoustics,
Okay.
little bookshelf speakers. And so I hooked up to one amplifier that I had done the recap job on. They sounded pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I still needed to do some more work, I think, on the recapping process. But then I hooked it up to the Bell amplifier that had the tubes in it. And it sounded really good. It sounded pretty good. And I thought, gosh, I just wish it could be louder. And I walk across the room to go ask Stephanie, hey, how does it sound? And as I'm walking out of the room, I can still hear it. And then I walk into the kitchen, I can still hear it. I walk into the back room, I can still hear it. It's like, oh, I guess it is pretty loud in there. I should probably turn it down.
My thought was you turned it up and they exploded.
And they exploded.
And it was over. Yeah.
No. No, they're sitting on the floor. They're sitting on the floor right
Gotcha.
now because I have wires everywhere, and it's a whole big thing. But it's fun, just testing speakers.
Yeah.
Samuel was going nuts.
I'm sure Stephanie's just so proud that you've now created a large hole in the wall in the kitchen. You got wires laying all over the place.
Wait a second.
There's sound blowing through the neighborhood.
Nobody asked for an inventory of the fun. Just wait till it gets warm outside. I'm doing all this stuff inside the house.
Yeah, just wait till the windows are open, right?
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, we've got to clean out the shed.
Stephanie.
No, she's doing great. She's doing great.
She's doing great.
She's doing
She's
great.
fine.
She's fine. Although we probably need to get a new dryer sometime soon.
Oh.
Yeah. Again, you buy something new and it doesn't work right from day one.
No.
What the heck? So frustrating.
So, and while we're talking about your home and family,
20 seconds.
Russell. I need a Russell update.
He's doing great.
Yeah?
Yeah, he's a little bit needy. He still has the FOMO issues.
Okay.
I think he has doggy dementia because he thinks every moment of the day is feeding time.
Okay, well,
And he keeps pacing back and forth incessantly. All right, we'll be right back. It's the WSJM Morning Show.
Like Home Depot, TJX, and Target disclose results. Gina Cervetti, Bloomberg Radio.
The Morning Show with Ken and Friends on 94.9 WSJM.
But thank you for asking.
certainly.
Yeah. Good morning and welcome to the WSJM Morning Show. I'm Ken Lundberg. Here with me is Mike Weibel. It's 7:37. We were just talking about Russell. Mike asked for a Russell update. Russell is our Portuguese water dog.
Yep.
He's doing fine. I mean, he's getting up there in age, but
He's 13?
yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know, 12, 13, maybe he's 12. But Stephanie will correct me later. But he has FOMO, so he's always pacing around all the time. He does need to wear his diaper now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's a little bit chagrined about that, especially when we break out the pink one.
Yeah.
Because they come in different sizes, and the different sizes are different colors.
Oh.
So thankfully, I'm told dogs are colorblind, so he doesn't know that we have a pink diaper on him from time to time.
Okay, speaking about color and Friday, what's the whole thing about purple? I didn't realize that we can't see the color of purple.
Yeah.
And your brain makes up a color.
Yeah, Dave Deutsch, our chief operating officer for Midwest Family Marketing and Media, was a guest on the show on Friday, and apparently he left an impression with Mike about the color purple.
Well, it's my oldest daughter's favorite color is purple.
Oh, okay.
So, and there's a lot of great stories about that. But nonetheless, my thing is, so what really is purple? And we can't see it, but...
Oh, let's see. Purple is created by mixing red and blue light. And in the RGB color model used in computer and television screens, purple is created by mixing those lights. It's a color that basically is created when our eyes see those two things together. But apparently there's a school of thought out there that purple does not actually exist. There is actually no color purple. It's just our brains interpreting that blend of red and blue. So I don't know. I mean, I can't say what Dave was talking about, but there is a thought out there that purple only exists in our brains.
Wow, that's a mind bender.
Yeah.
And you probably think, every color is our interpretation of it, right? Like red, we say what red is, but red could be all kinds of things, but our brain tells us red is this.
Yeah, let's see. I'm just looking here. The human eye can see a range of colors between ultraviolet and infrared. We see violet when light comes into our eyes and triggers blue with a hint of red. On the flip side, purple doesn't exist anywhere along the light spectrum, so it isn't a spectral color. Purple is a color our brains create when an equal mix of blue and red hits our eyes. Same goes for magenta. It is not a spectral color. It's a mix that our brain perceives with the mix of light at the two ends of the spectrum. So I mean, if you want to get your doctorate in spectrology
Yeah.
and colors,
Where do you go to get that?
the color school. I don't know.
Color school.
Yeah, but I mean, you're right, and you see it in nature.
Right.
Many things are just visible right there, like through flowers or birds or plants or whatever else. But apparently there is no color of that. Our brains make it up because our brains are smart.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's good. We're going to make up.
Our brains fill in the gap, and that's sometimes we don't always understand that, but
Yes.
that's what our brain tends to do.
Very
for
good
better
question.
Or for worse.
Very good questions. And we also we fill in the gap when there's not enough things to celebrate. And so we'll talk about special days that are
What
set
a
aside.
tee-up that is.
We'll talk about
Epic tee-up.
special days that you might celebrate today. Mike's got that list. We'll have that in a couple of minutes right here on WSJM.
ABC News, I'm Brian Clark. Apple announced it will spend $500 billion in the U.S. over the next 4 years, open a new factory in Houston, and hire about 20,000 American workers. It's a murkier picture for public sector employees. Elon Musk directed an email to the entire federal workforce telling them to reply with a list of accomplishments or face termination.
That's good news for Apple.
Yeah.
I like that. I like seeing industry do stuff. Positive. You know, and unfortunately, on the federal workforce stories, the way they're told through some of the national and local media really skews, I think, the way that it should be looked at. And one of the go-to things that a lot of the news reports have been doing, I've noticed anyway, is telling the personal story behind this person who's now lost their job and they thought they were going to be a federal government employee for their life. And this was their career dream the dream career to, like,
yeah.
I had dreams too.
That were dashed on the rocks.
I had dreams too. No, I mean, but seriously, it's life. Roll with it.
Right.
And that's tough to say. And it's tough to experience, for sure, without a doubt. But the way that they're telling these stories and trying to tug at the heartstrings, it does miss, I think they've missed the larger story of, hey, you do have a new administration in town and votes do matter. And when a vote happens for certain people or parties, there are platforms upon which they stand, which will be in effect if they get elected.
Right.
And so then you go to the ballot box or you make your argument before that. Then you go to the ballot box and you say one way or the other. And if you lose in a democracy, representative democracy, then you go one way or the other. And then you deal with it.
Well, and isn't the kind of expected as far as historically is
people aren't going to like that, by the way.
Candidates say they're going to do all these things and then they don't really do them.
Yes, and that's what's happened for such a long time that people, the approval rating of Congress is just below, I think, snail slime.
Right, right.
Sorry.
Old snails.
Yeah, old and expired. Not good for the grocery store shelf anymore.
The fact that everybody is like all worked up that he is doing all these things that he said he was going to do, I mean, he's doing them. I mean, people are not happy about it, but you can't say that his first 100 days is not going to be power packed with activity.
Well, and again, I'm not making a opinion here or judgment. I'm just saying this is the way the story is being told. But I think the real story is much different. There's a foundation of why these things are happening, and to your point, I think the stories are almost putting the media in the position of defending government.
Right.
It's like, well, wait a second, that's not going to be popular either.
No.
Because, you have government because you want people to do the right thing. When they don't do the right thing, you have to put government in place to make sure that they're abiding by rules and regulations and that kind of thing for the safety and welfare of the people. Yeah. So defending government, not a popular position.
Right.
But there is a need.
Oh, yeah, there is definitely a need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Better roads.
Better. Yeah. Yeah, another alignment for you.
I don't want any more alignments, though.
I knew that was going to get a nerve.
It was like I was in Mario Kart on our way to LMC this last weekend on Friday because
it's always the way out
I knew there were 2 or 3 different potholes and you just hit them and it just slams the whole car and you feel like there's no way my tire still has air in it.
Right.
Ugh. All right. What else can we do this morning? We'll talk about the days in a moment. Yeah, so the stereo stuff, we did the microwave, we did the stereo stuff.
Yeah.
What else
Russell
did we
update? We did Russell.
We
update.
did the Russell update. Samuel had a pre-SAT class last night.
Oh boy, that's exciting.
And this was online, but it's a Sunday night from 6:30 to 9.
Wow, that's a commitment.
That is commitment. Yeah, pre-SAT, get his, make sure he's doing all the right stuff.
What's he wanting to do?
Career-wise?
Yeah.
Don't know yet.
Okay.
Don't know yet. I mean, I think he has a lot of different interests. He likes the civil engineering because we talked about that at some point.
Yeah.
I think he really likes the medical industry now that he saw how the doctors took care of him, which is cool.
Yeah.
He loves computer gaming, but he hasn't really showed an interest that I've seen yet in coding. So that's kind of funny. Because, you think about it, it's like, well, I want to work in the video game industry. What about that?
Yeah.
That'd be cool. Play games all day.
At least he doesn't want to be a social media influencer.
Yes, thank goodness. Oh, that was another thing he was doing this weekend is sketching out the bass boat he wants to build. So that's cool. Yeah.
Wow.
Because he's really, as you know, he's really into fishing.
Loves to fish, yeah.
Loves fishing.
Is it going to be a metal bass boat? Is it going to be a fiberglass bass boat? Or is he going to get a hull and he's going to make it the way he wants it?
That.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's got a John boat that's up at his grandparents. He's got a John boat and then he's got a metal hull boat. And he's thinking for the metal hull boat, he could do this, that, and the other thing. I introduced the concept of displacement to him.
Yeah.
And he said, well, what's that? I said, you have a computer, look up the definition.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, yeah, it's how much water is displaced by the weight of the boat and what's in it. Important thing to have when I'm putting all this stuff in my boat for the bass.
Right.
So,
and you don't want to make it top heavy.
Right.
So that the thing's going to roll over on you every time you lean over the side.
Exactly.
Because the whole idea of a bass boat is you can stand up and walk around it.
Absolutely.
Right.
I love bass fishing.
I do too.
It's so much fun. Okay. We're going to get...
I used to fish in tournaments when I lived in Florida.
Clock.
Just saying that. That's all I had.
We need to talk about that because I'm very interested. We'll start in just a moment right here on the WSJM Morning Show.
Mostly cloudy skies today, breezy and mild afternoon high temperatures around 47. A few rain showers are possible during the day, but mostly the chance of rain is overnight tonight. We'll see rain showers. We drop down to around 35 to 37. And tomorrow, clouds and rain in the morning, sun in the afternoon, and high temperatures back in the mid-40s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Carrie Peugeot.
The Morning Show with Ken and Friends on 94.9 WSJM.
748 WSJM Morning Show. Good morning. I'm Ken Lundberg. Here with me is Mike Weibel. Sorry to cut you off. That is interesting.
See?
That is very
Just
interesting.
never know what might come up.
Mike was telling us, do you want to do it here or do you want to do it on the video live stream?
It's up to you.
Okay. Mike was talking about fish. We were talking about fish because my son Samuel is thinking about how he wants to outfit a boat this spring and summer for bass fishing.
Yeah.
Which bass fishing is fabulous, and there are special boats for bass fishing, as you
Yes.
mentioned. They have a lot of flat space where you can, cast unencumbered and get down right into the water and get your bass in,
Right.
so they don't go flipping off. But you were in tournaments?
Yeah.
How did you hide this from us? What is this all about?
I had a guy that I fished with a lot in Florida when I lived in Florida, and he was a really good bass fisherman.
Oh,
and
man.
so we spent a lot of time in the water, and occasionally he would sign us up for a tournament, and we would go fish a tournament someplace. And
That's awesome.
yeah, it was a lot of fun. And again, he was really good at it, but
Do you win any tournaments? Do you place?
we did not.
Did you catch any fish?
Yeah, oh yeah. A lot of
Okay.
Fish.
Are you going for peacock bass or what are you getting?
No, largemouth bass.
Well, that is a largemouth bass, but they're peacock.
Yeah, but not the
like
peacocks.
like down in Brazil,
Right.
in the
Or
Amazon.
Miami now.
Do they have them in Miami
Yeah,
now?
oh, yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Are they an invasive species?
of course.
The peacock bass, if you've not seen it, it's a largemouth bass, but the darn thing is like 22 pounds or something like
yeah,
that.
they're beautiful.
Yeah, they are gorgeous. They are gorgeous, and I bet they're good fighters too.
Oh, I'm sure.
And they probably eat like mallard ducks or Canada
Right.
geese or stuff like that for appetizers. All right, we need to get to our Moody on the Market update.
Yeah.
So let's do that. I want to hear more about the bass fishing, though. We'll do that on the video live stream. Moody on the Market update is brought to you by Insurance Management Service. Call IMS today. They are your local auto owners insurance agency in St. Joseph and in Niles. I know a sneeze is coming on, so beware of that.
Look at the light.
Look at the. Is that good or bad?
Usually makes you sneeze.
Oh, well, I don't want to sneeze. We're on the air.
Well, then don't look at the light.
So our Moody on the Market, Moody on the Market up. Thank you, Moody on the Market. Moody on the Market update is brought to you as we said by Insurance Management Service, and at moodyonthemarket.com we have a story posted right now. Boss Services adjusting their strategy, and they've now listed their Benton Township showroom for sale. One of the major players in the heating and air conditioning business in Michigan's Great Southwest is realigning its strategy a bit, no longer seeing the need for a showroom facility in the heart of the Benton Township retail district. Boss Services has listed their highly visible headquarters on M139 for sale. It's an office building. It's a warehouse building. They've got some storage type units out back. Boss Services co-owner Jeff Street told MoodyOnTheMarket.com that their needs have changed. He said, since we have changed suppliers from an out-of-town vendor to a local vendor, we no longer have a need for a large warehouse space that we needed a couple of years ago. When we stopped doing plumbing in 2023, we downsized our office staff, so we no longer need all the office space that we have there either. Right now, the commercial property market is starting to pick up, so it just makes sense to sell the building and move into a smaller space that fits our needs. A smaller space will significantly lower our occupancy expenses and allow us to keep our prices as low as possible. We're not sure where we're moving yet. We have not found a space. Wherever we end up, we'll continue to serve Southwest Michigan at the highest level for years to come. So that statement from Boss Services on why they're listing their office space on M139 there for sale, you've seen it. I think it used to be the motorcycle dealership, right?
Honda dealership.
Honda dealership.
Yep. And it was a gym for a while, I think. And
Yeah. So Boss Services looking to move out of there. So if you're in the market for that office space, I mean, it's been freshened up.
Yeah.
Looks pretty slick and clean. So if you want to read that full story,
give Jeff Street a call.
Give Jeff Street a call or his realtor. We've got the story posted right there at moodyonthemarket.com. So thanks to Gail Olson for reaching out to Jeff and getting that story. The Moody on the Market update is brought to you by Insurance Management Service. Call IMS today, your local auto owner's insurance agency in St. Joseph and in Niles. More coming up in just a moment right here on the WSJM Morning Show.
Mark Patrick Seminars is coming to Benton Harbor on Tuesday, March 11th for one day.
All right. So my dad, used to fish. He used to be a bass fisherman. And he I think it was 1987, he got his first bass boat. And then he upgraded eventually to an adult bass boat from Lund.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man, that was a sweet boat. And he got like $3,000, quote unquote, of free fishing gear along with it. We're still going through that stuff.
Really?
Oh, my gosh. You got lizards, you got worms, you got hooks, the Gamakatsu or whatever they're called. I mean, just tons of stuff. So do you have a favorite? Well, two things. Number one, do you have a favorite fishing style for largemouth that you want to share?
For as far as rubber worm or?
Well, so we used to do what my dad found the most successful, and I'll share this, is the Carolina rig.
Yeah, that's pretty much what we
do. Where you basically you have your weights on a slide and the weight keeps you off the bottom, but the bait's floating off the top, and so it's just that way you don't get stuck on the vegetation on the bottom of the water there. And then the second thing is, when you were fishing with your partner, who was driving the trolling motors?
So it depends on who you're fishing with. So when I fished with the guy I would fish with quite a bit, we were both about equal size.
Okay.
So it didn't really matter, and it was his boat, so he normally drove. I had another guy that I used to fish with who was about 140 pounds.
Oh.
So if I was in the back of the boat, you would hear the trolling motor going on top of the water because he would sit up so high.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So I would drive. Yeah.
Okay. You'd be in the front of the boat.
Yeah.
Okay.
One time we were out, we pulled around this little bank, and he had a lake behind his house, went around this little bank, and it was all just woods and swamp, kind of a little knoll that stuck up about 4 or 5 foot in the air. And as we came around that knoll, there was a gator that was laying up in the grass.
Oh, man.
And we spooked him.
Yeah.
And I was on the front side of that. He was on, and so the alligator jumped off the knoll across the middle of the boat and into the water.
Are you kidding?
No.
It jumped over the boat?
Yeah.
Oh.
So you can imagine.
What if he had landed in the boat?
Well, that's it. You can imagine you're sitting there and fishing, and it was, I mean, all this happened within like the room of the Pat Moody studio. I mean, it was that close. And he jumps out, and for a moment you want to jump away, but you don't want to jump in the water with the gator.
You sure don't.
And yeah, that was that'll get your heart pumping.
I'd say.
Yeah.
Yikes. That's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was.
Did you guys keep fishing?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't stop anything.
You got a 38 or a 357 ready to go?
The other one was too is he'd have
Hang on. Sorry.
Sorry.
Clock.
Yeah, it's fine.
WSJM Morning Show.
Serving our community. The Morning Show with Ken and Friends on 94.9 WSJM.
I like my new cue for you. Clock. 7:56 is the WSJM Morning Show. I'm Ken Lundberg here with Mike Weibel. We have a lot of fun on the video live stream, and if you haven't tuned in, you're missing a lot of it. We've talked all the way from microwaves and Office of Personnel Management to fishing and
Russell update.
And a few other things, and clock.
And color. We talked about color too.
We did. We talked about purple. We've got a minute or two. You want to go into your what days are being celebrated today?
Yeah, I just didn't realize this was all out there.
We get a list of days that it is days, quote unquote,
right,
every single day, and so it's fun to roll through them. So let's make fun of what's out there today.
So if you haven't been to a museum lately,
okay,
it's important to tell somebody to go because today is Museum Advocacy Day.
Museum Advocacy Day?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh.
So encourage someone to go to the museum. Today is also Cupcake Day.
Okay, cupcake.
Yeah.
Yeah, very
so
nice.
You should go have a cupcake.
All right.
It's Monday and you deserve one.
I like that.
Play More Cards Day.
Play more cards, as in like poker and 21 and Go Fish and Old Maid, and
there's an official day for that.
Bridge.
Today is also
Solitaire.
World Bartender Day.
You can play baseball. What? World Bartender Day?
Yes.
Oh. They have bartenders outside of the U.S.?
I guess they do.
Okay.
So it's their day to celebrate and not go to work, I guess.
Oh, very nice.
Tortilla Chip Day.
Okay. Today is tortilla chip. What do you do on Tortilla Chip Day other than eat tortilla chips? Why is today Tortilla Chip Day?
I'm not sure, but it's today, and you should find yourself a chip and salsa and have yourself a time.
I think I have something on Tortilla Chip Day. Let me pull this up real quick. Bill Arena. No. Yeah, National Tortilla Chip Fun Facts. They were invented in Los Angeles in the 1950s. Only in the 1950s.
I would have thought they were way older.
Yeah, me too. By a tortilla factory owner, which makes sense.
Right.
Who cut up and
baked. He didn't know what he owned before that day.
Apparently, he had he was doing quality control.
Okay.
There were ugly tortillas that maybe they got ripped by the machines or whatever. He said he would cut up the and bake the ugly ones instead of just throwing them in the trash, and thus were born the tortilla chip. And in fact, in 2003. The state of Texas made tortilla chips and salsa the official state snack.
There you go.
Have you ever made your own tortilla chips?
We have.
What's your process? And we'll wrap up on this, but what's your process for making the tortilla chips? What do you start with, corn or flour?
Well, usually corn.
Okay.
And then obviously you cut it up into its little triangles.
Yep.
Put it in the oven.
Yep.
And a lot of times, what's really good is if you do cinnamon and sugar
and
butter.
Now you're making a churro.
Yeah, but
that sounds good.
Yeah, you do that with some dip, and it's all
like
about
that.
it.
So my process similar. However, mine might be a little bit more fattening. I either use the corn tortillas or the flour tortillas.
Yeah.
If I'm really feeling like I'm ready to just pile it in, I do the flour. But typically the corn tortillas, and like you, I cut them into eighths or whatever, and then get a whole big vat of peanut oil, super hot, and you fry them in there for a couple of instances. You pull them out, and then you put them in the oven with a bit of salt on them.
I bet you that's good.
It's really good. So that we're going to leave it right there because of the clock. We've got to get to our ABC News. It's Monday, February 24th. It's the WSJM Morning Show. Good morning. It's 8 o'clock. Local news next.
From ABC News, I'm Brian Clark. The world's most valuable company announced a major U.S. investment.
Use today when people are talking to me and I just don't want to hear it anymore. I'm just going to look at them and go, clock.
You got to hold up your hand. Hold up your hand. Don't go at them. Go to the side.
Yeah, well.
Because you don't want to offend. Well, maybe you do. I don't know.
Well,
or you could just put you could draw a dial of a clock on your hand.
I know you've not been on the other end of clock. But when you
I have been.
But whether you had your hand up one way or the other, it's
still
just as abrupt.
Clock.
Clock.
I have been on the other end of the clock, and I see the clock all the time.
Yeah.
So you got to get, it's a rhythm. Any other days that we need to talk about? I know World Bartender Day is out there, National Tortilla Day.
Forget Me Not Day.
What?
Forget Me Not.
I forgot that one.
You did.
Just kidding.
Well, don't. And then the last one.
Yeah.
Today is Dance Day.
Oh.
So if you're at work, you break out and dance. Let them know you're just celebrating Dance Day.
Okay. Let's do dance. Let's do a dance right now.
Okay.
After I turn off the cameras.
All right.
Okay.
3, 2.
No. All right. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow. Mike will be back on Friday. It's the WSJM Morning Show. We appreciate you. All right. Bye.
Bye.
To an agreement.